Hello everyone, this is Clossi, and I'm back with another game review video. Today we have a 9Q versus a 10Q. So let's go ahead and see how this game goes. Alright, we do notice the bottom right. Normally you play the top right, or if it's in person it would be the bottom left. So it's very interesting to see the bottom right. And this one is usually good for black. And the reason is you don't want to play the 3-4 that lets your opponent approach with support, like here or here. And you can see black has support. So as white, usually you don't want to play the 3-4 facing a black stone. You would usually want it on the other side. That way, if they approach, they do not have support in the other corner. So this one is a little good for black. All right. Attach usually isn't the move because normally you want to be on the 4th line if you want to build. So you could go here or even here, and it's possible. It's more common Joseikis. This one is trying to build a lot of thickness, and usually you don't want to touch. So if you wanted to build thickness, it would be here, but you don't have an extension yet. So usually it's a little questionable to build thickness without an extension, but I mean, this move isn't bad. It's just usually not recommended. Tiger's Mouth is Vital Point. Very good. This move is not as necessary as it would be if it was a star point. So you could potentially go over here, and if they try to cut, they only get the corner. So it's okay, the cut actually isn't a problem. There is an invasion, but then you get a weak group and it's already pincered because of this stone. So you could potentially think about going here right now. Okay, so whenever you're thinking of defending this cut, always try to read the cut first. This one is a little bit slow because this group is already alive. So now you want to go for a big move, which is open corners, open sides. So it'd be the bottom side or the left side. So you could play Sanrense, or you could play an approach, an enclosure, or an extension. Something like that would be possible. So this one's a little bit slow because it's not the most open side. 3-3. I want to say it's a little early, but ever since AlphaGo, everyone wants a 3-3 immediately. But why not this one? Because this one actually has support, so why not go for the one that doesn't have support first? And here, if I was black, I would go for Sente, which is just here. And then you just take Sente. And build up a large area. White, this exchange actually has been considered good for black now. So you can exchange once more and then Tanuki if you wanted to. The reason is for AlphaGo, the same person who tossed 3-3 also says this Hane is optional because the Tiger's Mouth is actually a little bit good for black. So it is optional to play this Tiger's Mouth, and in this case I might want to save the Aji here, since if you just play it this way, maybe there's some Aji in there later. For example, maybe later you could peep and then come in. Possible. You could have this move. Possible. You never know what's going to happen in the future. So you can, until this becomes actual territory, maybe you could save the Hane. It's just something to think about. Bottom side is definitely not the side to be on. Left side is much bigger. The bottom side is not as wide as the left, so the left side is clearly bigger in that way. Also, the bottom side has an open skirt because white is peeping under and white can easily push in. So the points on the bottom are actually not existent yet until black gets a move like right here or right here. So the left side is much, much bigger than the bottom side. Building up the right side, it's big, but this bottom left corner is urgent. This is a weak group, so weak groups first. And white, I would continue up here through plan and attack this stone right here. This Hane isn't that big of a deal. You can still build up your area. It's not that big of a deal. You could actually ignore that again and just go here. It's not that big of a deal because you're actually already safe because of 017. Very good. The answer is 2-3-3. And usually your opponent will shoulder hit. You play, he plays, you play. And then he can fix here or fix here. And that's perfectly fine because this is still an open skirt. So even if it fixes, you can just push, 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 reduce. And it's very small. If you're, ow! Hi cat, kitty cat. If your opponent tries to cut you, then you can actually push right here and then Hane right here. And you can see he's over concentrated and then still do the same stuff. And then you can come in and reduce again. So this exchange is actually good for white. So usually your opponent doesn't play D3, so it's not really something to worry about. Black, once again, ignoring the weak groups. So I think black, the biggest mistake you're making is ignoring the fights. That's usually not good. And white, I think the biggest mistakes you're making is direction to play. Problem with this one is if I go here, are you okay? Maybe. Maybe it's still dead, but you can see there's a lot of Aji. A lot of Aji. It's probably here. This is fine. This is a little... No, this is fine. This is fine. Yeah, so white actually shouldn't kick here, because if black has an extension, then this Joseki is good for black. So don't kick unless you have a pincer. The exception is if we're going to immediately go here and sacrifice one stone to fix the Aji. If that's the only time you can play this Joseki. Otherwise, you have to have a pincer. So this is good by black. There's no attack on the outside, so just keep your base. This is Joseki. Since black has a base on the outside, there's no attack, so there's no reason to cut. This shape, this tiger's mouth to the first line is never good. Just connect, or tiger's mouth to the second line. This gives black another forcing move, which is really good. Fancy, but doesn't work. Yeah, nothing works. This is unnecessary for black. Black's already... Oh, I see. He's worried about the connection. Then just cut. Okay, good fix. So this exchange was bad for white. A little bit greedy. Black, the bottom is small. If you want to build, shoulder hit to build this area to be very large. Second line doesn't really make much sense since you're not stealing anything and you're not building anything. So second line is a little bit questionable. Fourth line is good. At this point, since there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stones, the 2, you can consider just sacrificing it and building. This is also possible. White, you're not watching your cutting points. Good vital point, but does it do anything? Lots of fighting here, but why not just... Why not just push and then build? If white tries to go in, you can start testing the connection. And then keep your points. Possible. But black invested a lot in this area. I'm not a fan of giving it all up. Oops, sorry. What the? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong key. And trying to destroy this and keep this is a little bit greedy. You can only do one or the other. You can destroy both or you can keep both. You can't do both. Oh, you're sacrificing now? Then these were bad exchanges if you're going to sacrifice. White is trying to reduce. Isn't it too late to try and save this group? Toot. That's the way to keep them cut. I think you gotta try. See, now black destroyed the top and he got the middle. So black's got to be way ahead now. This is very small. A little greedy. Misread? I think that was a misread. You're alive. Tanuki. Play in-game. Alright, so I think here's a good stopping point. I think at this level, we really want to focus on the first 100 to like 150. So we're at move like 131, and I think it's starting the end game. So one thing I noticed is the direction of play of both players. No one really built the left until black approached. And a lot of things were happening on the bottom before black approached at A. So the left side, which was much bigger. So I think getting to the direction of play to the open sides is very important. Secondly, I think white needs more direction of play than black because black is tanuking a lot. So black's getting more. But on the flip side, black is leaving a lot of weaknesses behind and white didn't punish them very well. So I think black, you're leaving way too much weakness behind. And if you get stronger, then your opponents are going to start punishing that weakness and you're not going to be able to keep up with the game because your areas are going to get destroyed because you're going to be trying to defend your weak groups so your groups don't die. But ignoring your weak groups all the time, I think is going to be is going to lead to difficulties later on. So I think it might create bad habits later on. But your speed is very nice. You just got to make sure you do that after fixing in a light way if you want to play fast. White, I think, a direction of play and also learn to attack. I think you can do this by playing handicap games with people weaker than you. So I would say if you want to maybe play some teaching games or something with like 15 Qs or 13 Qs or 12 Qs and give them some handicap, I think that'll help you learn how to punish mistakes or punish weak groups and take advantage of stuff and profit from that. Because what I noticed is black ignored the star point for a while, but if you look at the result, black ended up getting just as many points as white. So white never really made a profit from that attack. Additionally, this whole group in the center tried to reduce this area, but lost your area and didn't gain anything else in compensation for black's area. So what this means is you sacrificed your area in order to destroy your opponent's area, but then you didn't. Additionally, when you reduce, you want to try to gain something while you're reducing if you can. And you technically were, because it was this dead group was supposed to be the exchange, but then the dead group came back to life. So all of these stones for white in the center actually got nothing in value. So they had no value other than stopping black from building even more. But he's already this high, so it's you kind of need value to cancel it out. So these stones in the center never get value. So I think for black, learn to defend quickly and still keep your speed. And for white, for both players, black and white, direction to play. And for white specifically, learn how to attack for profit and reduce while gaining. I think your attack and defense definitely needs some work to break into single digit Q. And also try to build while you're reducing, if you can. Try to build something, or maybe prep for an invasion to destroy something. Try to get value out of that thickness. But otherwise, I think the attack and defense was definitely the biggest mistake on white's part, because the dead group came back to life. You never profited by attacking A, and you tried to attack this corner, and in this case, it was better not to attack because there was no attack on the outside, because he already had a base, so it wasn't a good idea to split off and give up the corner for an attack that wasn't there. So I think attack and defense definitely needs some work. So I think keep playing your level games, and playing some rated games against some weaker opponents I think will help you. But try to get those reviewed, so that way stronger players can tell you how to attack the weaknesses that your opponents are playing. So I think getting those handicap games reviewed through online, like OGS group forums or gokibits.com, Discord channels, anywhere that you can get your games reviewed, I think really make use of that and play some handicap games, get those reviewed, and learn how to attack. For black, just keep playing the speed, but really make a conscious effort, try to defend quickly, and then to Nikki, if you want to keep up that speed. But at some point, you're going to have to defend your weak group, so you got to really work on that balance. But I think probably playing stronger players. Don't only play stronger players, of course, but getting some games in with some stronger players, getting some teaching games, will help you understand and fine-tune that balance. All right, hopefully you guys found that helpful. This was a very nice and well-fought game. I saw fighting spirit on both sides, so I think it was a really nice game. So, as always, guys, I hope you guys found this helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.